Hey guys, this is Justin. Hello and welcome to another video. So, we finally got what I consider to be some good news or some interesting information about a Star Wars project that I am exceptionally excited for, so I want to talk about that today. However, before I do, today's video is going to talk a lot about the Star Wars Expanded Universe, and I get a lot of people asking me, how do I get into the EU? Now, I'm going to do a video about this probably tomorrow, just for more details, but I run a podcast called Tapcaf Transmissions. We're about to do episode 100, which will also mark the beginning of the new Jedi Order, i.e. the Yuuzhan Vong War. How it works is every week or every 2 weeks, we pick a new Star Wars book, we read it, my host Corey and I discuss it on the podcast. So if you guys want to read along, you can join the discussion, submit questions, join the live streams, and of course, if you're new to the Expanded Universe, it's a perfect way to get into it because Corey and I will be discussing all the nuances that you may miss if this is your first time through. So if you want to join us for the journey, 19 plus novels and hundreds more afterwards, this Thursday we'll be talking about Vector Prime, this upcoming Thursday. You can find the podcast live, usually on Corey's channel, or by searching Tapcaf Transmissions on your favorite podcast platform. That's TAPCAF Transmissions. Anyway, let's talk about some interesting news. And this is just kind of a little thing, but I've got to admit, I felt so down about Halo and Star Wars lately. I don't like making bad news videos, or I don't like having a bad spin on news. I didn't enjoy talking about the Halo TV show and how it felt like it was abandoning certain aspects that made the Halo video games great. So when I saw this tweet actually appear on Star Wars Leaks, it was a couple of days old, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about why it's important and to highlight something that I personally would like to see done more often. Alright, so the initial tweet, which went under the radar for about a day, comes from Twitter user JustABrad, who posted a picture with legendary Star Wars author Michael Stackpole. He said, "Not every day do you get to chat with one of your favorite Star Wars authors. Great meeting Michael Stackpole, who told me he was highly excited about the upcoming Rogue Squadron movie and assured me Patty Jenkins had been in contact with him early on." This is absolutely great news. I'll talk about why, but first you need to know who Michael Stackpole is and why it's important that Patty Jenkins is contacting him. Michael Stackpole was responsible for launching the X-Wing series of novels, beginning with Rogue Squadron, which was a cornerstone of the Star Wars Expanded Universe. They led to the Rogue Squadron video game, the X-Wing comics, and much, much more. It's part of the reason why Rogue Squadron is such a popular part of Star Wars media and Star Wars lore, and it's no exaggeration to say that most likely without Michael Stackpole, this Rogue Squadron movie would absolutely not be happening. We've covered 9 of the 10 X-Wing books on Tapcaf, all except for the final one, Mercy Kill. The books are all written by either Michael Stackpole or the late Aaron Alston, and really they're just phenomenal pieces of media, and there's aspects of each one of these novels that I think really absolutely need to make their way into the eventual Rogue Squadron movie. The one thing, first of all, that I think X-Wing does better than perhaps any other Star Wars book not written by Timothy Zahn is the use of characters. X-Wing does a great job of taking characters who appeared either in minor roles in the films, like Wedge Antilles, or who are completely new, like the legendary characters of Corran Horn or Tycho Selchu, and making them into characters who, among EU fans, were almost as well loved as the main trilogy characters, and certainly are as interesting, or in the case of Corran, in my opinion, even more so. And this is part of the reason why not only have these characters largely, especially in Corran's case, made their way into the larger EU, but have also just been really memorable. And when it comes to movies, whether they're about starfighter squadrons or real-life fighter groups like in Top Gun, the group dynamics are very, very important. And one thing that the X-Wing novel especially manages to execute is making you care about the entire squad, whether it's someone like Corran's wingmate, the Gand Oral, or the double-crossing members like Arisi Delart. It's really impressive how the novel manages to make you care about essentially 12 plus characters without the reader being overwhelmed. That's something that I would absolutely like to see translated to the movie. Obviously, you have less time to work with, but if this is going to be branching away from the main characters and looking at, a fighter squadron, which may or may not involve mostly new characters, you're really going to need to make people care, and make people care quickly. An element too that I think the movie should try to incorporate is the way that the X-Wing series managed tone. These books definitely go full Top Gun in that there's a mix of seriousness and lighter, even approaching campy moments. Sometimes the dialogue is cheesy, there's lots of, camaraderie, an elevated focus on teamwork and honor, honor and putting others above yourself, but then there's also very serious and incredibly touching moments, and a great example of that would be the death of Ton Fannin from Wraith Squadron in the X-Wing novel Iron Fist. So I think that a movie about a fighter squadron should really take as much as possible from the X-Wing series, including the two things that I just mentioned. The tone, which I think should at times be like MASH or something like MASH or Top Gun, while also being able to handle, sadder or emotional moments, plus the ability to quickly introduce characters. I think this is the most important thing that people care about immediately, to make a group dynamic that's interesting. If you have a rogue squadron but nobody in rogue squadron is any interesting, the stakes aren't going to be high. It's not going to matter when someone's X-Wing gets shot down, and that's another aspect of these novels or the movie. Pretty much every fight should have the real possibility of losing one of the key members who you've grown to love. So again, these are all lessons that I think Patty Jenkins could definitely go to Michael Stackpole for some advice on. Michael Stackpole isn't a perfect writer, but in my opinion, he's a damn good one. He's expressed his willingness and even eagerness to work with Star Wars in new canon, and I'm gonna say this outright, it's a disgrace that Lucasfilm hasn't hired him to at least write something, given how instrumental he was in the old expanded universe. Right now, it does seem like this is the next best thing we're going to get, and I've got to admit, Patty Jenkins so far has been saying a lot of the right things. Now, there was a bit of controversy, I guess, because apparently the Wonder Woman movie she recently directed wasn't that good. I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to comment on that, but she's definitely paid some honor to Michael Stackpole. She said earlier last year the following quote, "Michael Stackpole books in the video games and all of the Rogue Squadron books, there's an incredible history that's really important to honor, and yet it must be brought to a new age because we have to tell a new story with it." So the fact that she can talk the talk is good. Let's see if she can walk the walk, but this so far is definitely the Star Wars series that I'm most excited about, or rather, this is a Star Wars movie. It's top among pretty much everything that Disney is offering. I hope it takes place after the rise of Skywalker. I want all of the baggage of the sequels and knowing kind of what's coming to be gone. I think it'd be cool if they brought Poe back. He was a character that I really like. Wedge could serve maybe in an advisory role. Take some of the pilots from the sequels, take a bunch of new pilots, make a new squadron, and have some good world building start at this point as well. I don't know whether they'll be facing off against remnants of the Empire or the First Order. There's obviously going to be some enemy there. I think this new movie could serve as a very good tool for world building in this new era. That's kind of what the X-Wing books did as well back in the day. Now, they were released after some major novels like the Thrawn trilogy, but the X-Wing novels really do a lot in terms of world building for the post-Endor era. It shows how the New Republic captures Coruscant, how they begin to actually form a government after the Battle of Endor. Stuff like that is going to be needed if Star Wars wants to have any sort of reasonable timeline after the, I'm just going to be honest, mess that was Episode 9 especially. But guys, those are just my thoughts. A bit of a rambling video today. Hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. Till next time, be safe, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.